Welcome to Framework Fortune and welcome back Framework Fortune community. It's time for an update on another one of Ben's stock reviews, and this has been requested quite a bit lately, Aqst. So you guys have been asking for it and it is here. Now, last time I looked at this, I believe it was in this downtrend and it's broke since then, so that's a nice thing to see. It actually ran up quite a bit from 377 to 639. So you guys who were in this, that was a good spot to lock out some profit, as that was some resistance back through here. So the good thing is the downtrend has broken. Bad thing is this is holding up as resistance. And actually it may be right here. Yeah, what is that? 650? Yeah, 650 is holding up as resistance. Multiple peaks you can see where it struggled with 650 and 7. And this time it actually got smashed twice at 650. So really need to see it break now at this point over 650 and 7 to continue this upward momentum that it has started. And it has started a trend line on the upside. So because of this recent movement right through here, we do have a wedge formation on this. You want to see Aqst hold above $4, and if it can do that right around here, probably in March it looks like. So if I spread this chart out, we're quite a ways away from the tip of that triangle and we're almost back down to it. So it could either bounce here off of this 475 area where it's trying to and make its way back up for a test, or it could go sideways and then come back down one more time, hit, like I said, about February into March, then slowly bounce up and maybe break out by April for a really nice sized run. I know there's some news headlines on this you guys have been talking about, so we'll dive into those here shortly and see what we can find out. I do want to say I am not holding this stock, but I do not have any stock at the current moment because I'm extremely bearish on the stock market. So as always, do your own due diligence. But because I do have a very bearish outlook on the entire stock market, I'm very bearish in this short-term next 6 months on pretty much every stock. Even though this is uptrending, if the Dow Jones was to drop quite a bit, it could ruin this whole wedge pattern. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm not trying to doom and gloom. Just from the charts that I've been looking at and indexes and futures, things just don't look good. But we'll see. You never know. Okay, so we're in Thinkorswim, and we can see on the daily chart that nice little McDonald's M there. And actually, I've got the moving averages there. You can see it's holding above the 200-day at the moment. So it possibly could see a bounce here off the 200-day with that current candle. Although this candle still has to close today. But if it continues to push green and can close above the bottom of the body of this big red one, it may have another green day tomorrow, but that's just kind of some short-term analysis there. This is the first time that it's been over the 200-day all year. It was a little bit at the beginning, but not really long enough to even matter. This is the longest it's had as a run over that. And if the 200-day holds on the daily chart, then you can also just hold and ride that 200-day. That could be another possibility. So it looks like they had some earnings beginning of November. Can't remember if I covered this before or not. But let's take a look. This Libervant continues progress through the FDA review process. So that's good news. Some type of approval goal looks like by December 23rd. And then the Aqst 109 top line phase 1 demonstrated results comparable to auto-injectors such as EpiPen and AviQ for emergency treatment of allergy reactions, including anaphylaxis. That's really big if they can make that happen. But this is only phase 1, so nothing to get excited about in phase 1. They improved full year revenue and earnings guidance, beat the analyst consensus estimate by 18% just about. And that's a 25% increase over losses per share from the same period last year. They reported quarterly sales of $13.29 million, which beat the estimates. Wow, by quite a bit there too. So they had some pretty good earnings. Yeah, and they're growing, so they are turning things around from the last time I looked at them. Let's see what this latest PR was here. That's a healthcare conference. Don't care about that. Got a Seeking Alpha article. Nah, I don't give much weight to articles. And this was on the 11/29. And then we got a press release 4 days ago. The majority of the verdicts handed down by FDA in November were positive. 3 new molecular entities were approved during the month, taking the total number of NME approvals for the year-to-date period to 45. This is just one short of NME approvals received for the same period last year. And those are apparently important indicators of innovation in drug research. NMEs are drugs containing an active moiety that has never been approved or marketed in the U.S. So they have 45 of these approvals on a drug that's never even hit the market. And then it says the PDUFA date is a binary catalyst that can result in huge stock moves in either direction. It's the date by which the FDA is required to issue its verdict on approvability, non-approvability of drug following. Okay. What they're saying is we may be getting some approvals and our stock could be really crazy somewhere between December 6th today to December 30th when they get some more approvals that could come out. So this is a possibility. Let's see what kind of share size this is. I'm gonna put this on my watch list just because there's a lot of good stuff out of it. Yeah, 40 million shares. It's low float. Yeah, there's a possibility we could see this thing maybe get spicy before the end of December if the overall stock market doesn't crash. But here's the thing, you don't know what's going to happen on that day of approval, or if the approval comes out earlier, or if it's not approval. It can sound great all the way up to the whole point. They can build it all up. Stocks will do this, companies do this. They'll tell everybody, everything's looking great. We're going to hit the market with all these different drugs that's never been sold in the United States before, and everybody's hyped and they think they're going to make a bunch of money. You don't know what's going to happen between now and then. You don't know if maybe that CEO, snuck around with the guy who's doing the FDA approval with his girlfriend, So there's all kinds of types of outside factors that you have to keep in mind when we're talking about human beings. They could come out and say, hey, we can't approve these drugs, and then the stock price could crash. It's not likely from what I'm seeing, but this is a cheaper, still considered penny stock in a company that does have bad numbers historically. This could be a big pump and dump scheme. I don't know for sure. There's no really way to tell. And then on top of that, just like with earnings, sometimes we see FDA approvals come out and the stock doesn't move at all. It just continues to drop. So there's a lot of possibilities, and it's hard to say what's going to happen with this stock by December 30th. What I can say now is it is holding this 200-day. It's holding the trend line that we looked at on TradingView earlier. If it continues to hold, looks good. But if you're solely expecting approval to come out to get this stock to jump to a higher price, don't be surprised if it doesn't and it turns around and goes the other way. You probably want to go and check and make sure there are no shelf registrations. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up now and see. So you can find this on bamsec.com. And we're going to go back to the homepage there, and then we'll just put in AQST. So if there's a crazy amount of shares in a shelf registration, and there was a shelf registration filed in March, primary offering there. So this is an S3 shelf registration, but it doesn't seem like this has been activated yet. So right here, just looking at this, from time to time, we may offer up to $250 million of any combination of the securities described in this prospectus in one or more offerings. So that's kind of scary, because what that means is at any time, because they just said from time to time, just whenever they feel like it, they may just drop $250 million worth of common stock, preferred stock, whatever, at any time they feel like it. $250 million. So the fact that they have that shelf registration filed at the beginning of this year, it's very possible that we could see a big rip before the FDA approval, and then dump the stock with that shelf registration. I was really hoping I didn't see that shelf registration on there, and then the way they even worded it is really sketchy. So I don't know, guys. This is still one where I'm on the fence about. Everything looks good. But sometimes in the stock market, when it looks so good, like they're holding a juicy steak out in front of your face, it may end up being the old switcheroo hoodoo, and you may actually be landing face first into a pile of bullshit. So do your own research. Take this analysis for what it is. It's just my thoughts on it. I really don't know what's going to happen. That shelf registration definitely shakes things up now, because I was leaning kind of bullish on it in the beginning until we saw that, and now I'm back on the fence. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below about AQST. Appreciate everybody who's been reaching out to me about this stock and covering this stock. And if there's any other stocks you would like me to take a look at for Ben stock reviews, leave those in the comments as well. If you haven't yet, go check out frameworkfortune.com. It is free. Thanks for joining me as always. Stay safe out there. Until next time.